Hello, this is Survival-gyver, and today I'm going to introduce you to the Ready Rope Elite. So I've showed Ready Rope. I showed the other version of this prior, which is the bigger one. So this is their new version. It's called the Elite. It actually has a couple of things that I wanted on this one is now available on this one. Obviously there's some pretty big size difference here. Like I wanted one that was smaller to make it easier to put on a backpack. Big one works fine. Actually used it, it's fourth or fifth time I have orange paracord on it, because I have a lot of it for like Hurricane Helene that came through. This actually held down a lot of the stuff that's outside so it doesn't become flying debris. So regular 550 paracord. So this by Atwood Rope company, made in manufacturer, I believe, is in Ohio. So it's made in the United States. Very, very good. The link will be in the description for this as well. But this is the new one. So let me show you what's going on here. So this one I got in a like a woodland camo color. And unlike the orange one, which is 100 feet, this is 50 feet. So, yeah. So it's half the amount, but it's also half the weight and has some features that I wanted in the old one. So this is preloaded with 50 feet of 550 paracord. So tensile strength is going to be 550 pounds. Diameter is 5/32, which is typical paracord. It's a 7-strand core, so it's 8 lines in one. It has a built-in cutting piece up here, but now it has this protective cover. And the only reason I asked for a protective cover on the last one is because in some crazy situations, you could inadvertently get a finger in here. Now with this little cover, it's much harder to do that. You'll also notice that the blade sits higher up than in the regular one, so it's like half the size. But works just as well, and I'll show you that as well. On the old version, you have a much larger section to hold paracord, a little cord lock. On the new version, it's just a tiny little hook, which actually works better. So that's kind of cool. Still has the ability to hook it onto like a carabiner, or using paracord to connect it to something else. Backpack. Backpack is the number one thing that I would use it on, but say if you have an organizer in your car, you can wrap it on that way. You can connect it to like a tripod. I have room on this tripod to do so. Things of that nature. Now on the bottom, you'll see it says Atwood Rope Manufacturer. But now this cap on the bottom, little storage compartment, which is deep enough to fit my entire index finger and then some. Like it could still go a little bit farther. I think my finger only comes up to about here on here. Let's see if I can get you a better view of what's on the throat there. I may not be able to. There we go. So it's pretty deep and doesn't have that ridge on the inside like the other one did. So it's also, if you look really carefully, so American Rope Manufacturing, RR cap, made in the USA. So that's awesome. So the original version of this one, had storage underneath, but when you pop this off, the cap wasn't connected to anything. So you would lose the cap. And on here, let's see if I can get a view on the inside of this one. If I can move the light the right way. You see about 3/4 of the way down, it gets smaller. So it would prevent your lighter, if you're using one or something of that nature, from getting all the way to the bottom. And you'd have problems getting stuff out of that little notch. It wasn't the end-all issue, but it was definitely a problem. And unless you had some microcord or something to connect the old cap with, there, you would lose the cap very easily. So it's very, very nice that they've come up with a solution to keep the cap on. So that's cool. Now, let me put this down for a moment. Now, if you do a lot of work with paracord, you know that the best way to fix the straight ends is with a lighter. Now this is just a standard Bic lighter, and lo and behold, it fits on the inside. So now you can go around with your paracord as necessary and have a lighter available. And it fits perfectly in there. So that's cool. Makes a little bit of rattling noise because there's some space, but it's not bad. Let me show you how well this cuts. Open this back up here. Pop this out. Like butter. It cuts really, really well. And you could even cut really small pieces. So, say you only need to take a little bit off. Just pull, and it comes right off. And you get a nice end. So, very, very good blade. And I like that it's got a little lock on it now. Of course, we can do this. There we go. It's hard to see with the camera in the way. And voila, you have a way of holding this out. Now, if this was just a little bit longer, you may have noticed it originally. I pop this out again, take that out, so I don't hurt myself. Let's make this a little bit longer. You can do something like this as a way of holding the end free. If you want to put a knot there, you can, but by itself, it'll pretty much hold. It's not perfect, it'll move, but it's just another way to keep that nice and clean. So this is a nice smaller size. Again, it's 50 feet, so it's a half a hank size, 50 foot. But it's easier to carry in a backpack. Easier to put in lots of different places, but backpacking is where I usually do it, as opposed to this much larger one, which has 100 feet, but it takes up a heck of a lot more room. So side by side, you're looking at, let's see if I can get them side by side. This one is still shorter, so if I made it the same height, I'm missing about a third of it. And it still holds a lighter and has a cap, which is really nice, so you're not losing the bottom of it. So what else can you do with this? Of course, these are reusable, so once you run out of your paracord or it's too small to use, you can unwind the rest and put a paracord of your choice. Now, Atwood does sell paracord. Paracord, sometimes I say that a little wrong, a little bit of lisp, but or a speech impediment. And this one, you can see I've wrapped it before. It's not as pretty as how they did it. They did a much better job on wrapping it than I did. You can reuse it. You can put any kind of paracord you want on there. Put microcord if you really want a lot of space, a lot of footage on it. You could even put like 1100 paracord, which I have. I forgot what brand that one is, the 1100, but I do have some. I think that might be UTC or UCT, whatever that one's called, which is 1100, which is like super heavy duty, but takes up much more room. You'd get about 50 foot on the big roll with the 1100. But you can also use this in a emergency survival situation, not just for arts and crafts and basic work. So if you keep the lighter on the bottom, you can get like a fire cord or something of that nature that has the regular 7 strands of 550, but also have wax jute on the inside and maybe cotton thread and even the wire if it's like the Titan cords. So you have ways of starting a fire if necessary. So not only do you have cordage, you have fire, and you'd have fire on the inside in a way of cutting it. That'll help you out, keep your gear light, and still be able to set up your tent properly if you need it, or to start a small fire if you need it, or to repair gear if you need it. Lots and lots of options. So the upgrade to this, even though it's smaller, you have the cover at the top here, and you have the cover at the bottom here. So now you're not losing stuff out of the bottom, because I will admit that as much as I like this, I don't keep it on my backpack very often because I would bump something in, it would hit the bottom, and the contents would disappear on the trail. So that always stunk. But yeah, so this is the new Ready Rope Elite. I will give you a link to their website and a link to Amazon where you can find this, and the same for the full-size one. And it's made in the United States, so that's good news, right? Because we're here in the U.S. I'm in North Carolina, or whatever's left of it, and this has become extremely helpful. So has this one. This is actually probably 40 feet. It's actually a little less, but because I've been using it. But that's it. So take a look. AtwoodRope.com, a full-size Ready Rope, and the Ready Rope Elite. Questions or comments, leave them below and I will answer them as soon as I can. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be coming out with some cool things in the future as well. Not like this isn't cool, this is actually awesome. But, you know, you get what I mean. Alright, so thank you for watching and have a glorious night.